Hi everyone, I'm Tracy and welcome to today's video. So I decided to make a video of all of my Hokoto brushes, and initially I wasn't going to because I don't have a ton of them, but the ones I do have I do really like, and I looked at the price increases that are coming on March 1st, so that's coming up soon. And for some of these brushes I have, the price increase is significant. I mean, like $40, $50 more for some of the larger brushes. So let me start out. So the brushes that are going up the most in cost is the gold or the Sora series. And I'm guessing that's mainly because most of those are squirrel hair. So for the most part, I do recommend them all except for one, and I'll mention that in a little bit. And then I have one of the BZ brushes. So the BZ line, from what I know, I only know of two of them. One is the BZ2 and one is the BZ1. The one is a round domed foundation brush. It looks kind of like the Houkodou Yoshiki face brush, except it's got like a short handle. And I've heard a lot of good things about that one. I don't have it, so I can't say for sure. But I did want to show you guys the one that I have and let you know if I recommend it. But let's start out with the Sora brushes, and I'll start with the largest to the smallest. And I already did my makeup. I wasn't planning to film today. I also didn't do my hair because it's pouring today, so I figure it's gonna get messed up. So I'm gonna just use this Yoshiki brush and put a little bit of foundation over what I have. See how that's. So I'll start out with the face brushes, and then I'll demo the eye brushes I have. Okay, so I'm actually going to start, because this is meant for creams, I'm going to start out with the BZ2. And the only thing that I feel like it was good for, at least for me, was for cream contour and cream bronzer. Because it's got that very slight angle, it fits into this area very nicely. I think it's meant for foundation, which I think it's a fine foundation brush, but what makes this brush unique is that it's very dense and it's got that angle. It's not super angled, so also when I did use this one more, it's a good travel brush because it's so small. So let me use this with the new Tower 28 cream contour. I have it in the shade Getty, and I don't know if you guys know, I mean, if you're from California, you probably do know the cream contours that they came out with. They're all named after museums in Southern California. I think one is like the Hammer Museum, Getty Museum. I think there's one called the Simmon Museum, which is in Pasadena. Anyways, I thought that was kind of cool because they're from, this Tower 28 is from California, Southern California, and the Tower 28, I believe, is one of the lifeguard stands in Venice or Santa Monica. So I've probably been to this actual tower at some point in my life. Anyways, I thought I would share. Okay, so I'm going to start out putting this cream contour, and then I'll use the other brushes for the powder products. So I just put the whole thing in like that. Now, mind you, I have not used this for a long time, so I'll try to do it the way I remember. So when I put my cream contour, I try to put it a little bit higher. I don't put it like in this space. I kind of try to do a little bit higher from where the actual hollow is. So that's kind of how it works. So I would say it puts a pretty defined contour. So if you're really trying to like chisel your face, you see how it did that? How like sucked in I look. I don't necessarily go for this look very much, but if you're beginning with contour, I think this is a really good one to start out with because it's so foolproof. You just, you know, put it in like that, and then the angle kind of will evenly distribute that contour. And you could put it here too. So, and then kind of spread it around a little. And you definitely want to, I mean, in my opinion, you definitely want to stamp with this brush because it's so dense. If you do this, you're just going to like mix everything up together. So I definitely think stamping is the way to go with this brush. So yeah, I mean, I think it's actually a really great cream contour brush. I really like how I did that. And as I use my powder products, I'll kind of soften that up. So now I'm gonna do the GF2, and this is called a powder brush. Oh, and this is goat hair. It's soft hair too. And so the GF2, this is the largest of my the gold series that I have. There are two other ones. One is the GF4 and the GF5. Those are the larger powder brushes. And I've been eyeing one of them, you know, trying to think about which one I'm going to get. I might get one of them, you know, before the first. I'm not sure. You know, they're fairly priced now, but after the price increase, yeah, they're going to be quite expensive. So a little bit about this series. It's got a super shiny gold ferrule and a really beautifully lacquered black handle, and it has the name in gold like this. These are very beautiful brushes. I have a post on my Instagram with close-ups of the entire series of the ones that I have. So if you want to take a better look, you could look there. I'll show you guys what you can expect with the GF2. It's a round ferrule, so it's completely round, and it's a fairly long brush. It's borderline floppy, so it's not super dense. You can definitely do like blush. I do like using this for powder bronzer the best. I like it because it's so flexible. You can kind of you could kind of go all out, and it's not going to heavily apply the bronzer. So I'm going to use a Dior Forever bronzer in Warm Bronze, and this is how I use this one. I just kind of lightly, I'm kind of like setting the cream contour and adding a little bit of bronze like on top of the cheekbones. I started doing this, I started setting my cream contour because it kind of softens the look, and it sets it so that it stays longer and it doesn't rub off as easily. So yeah, that's how I do it. I just kind of like do like circular motions like this. And the size is good, at least for me, to get into this area. This would also be a good powder brush. I just think it's best at this, at like lightly bronzing. Someone asked me what brush I would recommend if you want to very, very lightly bronze the skin. So like if you're very fair and you're just trying to add a little bit of warmth, or you have a very pigmented bronzer and you're not looking for a strong look, this is probably one of my top picks. If you're looking for a lot of impact, this one's not going to give it to you. This is for someone that likes a soft touch for their brushes. So see how beautifully it did that? It kind of like softened everything up. I really love this brush for this purpose. Okay, so that's the GF2, and then I'm going to do the GC2, which is their flat paddle shaped blush brush, and that is what I use this for. I use it for blush. I don't believe I've used it for anything else. It's a little too thick for powdering, and this is actually a very unique brush in that it has a like that spade shape, so it kind of like goes out here, and it's very tapered, so it starts tapering really low. So it's very well designed. This was a very well thought out brush. And like the other ones, the hairs are very soft. I would say of the face brushes I talk about, I think the hairs, for some reason, the hairs in the GC2 are a little better. Like the other two, I feel like they get greasy kind of fast. I don't know if it's just the ones I have, but I'll show you how I use this for powder blush. Okay, I'm going to use a kind of pigmented blush. I'm going to go with the Pat McGrath blush in Cosmic Coral. It's one of those dual shades, and the reason I pick this one is this is a pretty bold blush. So I would go for a brush like this because this will have a very light application, probably one of the lightest blush brushes that I have. So if that's what you're looking for, you'll probably really like this one. And see, I'm gonna just use the kind of like neutral side, and then I'll go in with the pink on like kind of on top. So see this neutral one product, and I should have washed this, but I didn't realize I was gonna film today. You know, I'm gonna just pick up the pink part because I want you guys to be able to see this. It's not going to be super specific, but it does very, very beautifully apply your powder blush. I always pat because I don't like to like mess up what I have underneath, but you can certainly brush with this one. It's so light. It's not a dense brush. It feels lovely on the skin. It's really a nice one. And I don't think this is a good highlighter brush, even though it kind of has a point. I can try it. I'll try it for highlighter, but it's, for me, I prefer my highlighter brush to have a little bit more firmness. And what am I going to use? I'll go in with the Dior Forever Coral Glow, one of my all-time favorite highlighters. I suppose if you just want a very subtle highlighter look, you can use this brush for this. So yeah, I love how soft your makeup comes out when you use brushes like this. I actually really like that because, you know, you can kind of do it all over if you don't want to like have a serious like beaming highlight. You can get that kind of natural luminosity with this brush. All right, so that is the GC2. I really do like this one. And this one I have mixed feelings. This is the GC6. It's a round ferrule and it's a domed brush. It's a little bit more dense, not super dense. It's just not quite as flexible as the other two, but it's certainly not a dense brush. And I never know what to do with this brush. So just so I can show it off, I'm gonna just use it with finishing powder, or I'll do a little setting powder. I don't remember what I even used this brush for, but I'll use this to kind of like set in the center of my face. So I'm gonna use the By Terry Hydra powder in translucent. So I'll kind of like set right here. But yeah, this shape is round, so I might not get like to certain areas very well. and just see how it works. I'm going to try it with the finishing powder. I'm going to just try it with this glowish, the Huda Beauty glowish setting powder. This is more of a finishing powder to me because it really smooths out your skin. So I'm going to like try it right here. Like this is the area I would kind of need a little smoothing. I'll just kind of put these in like circular motions. I really like this powder. I don't know if I've shared this on my channel before, but I didn't hear good things about it, but it really does like smooth everything out without making your skin look too matte. See how it did that? It kind of just blurred everything in and on this side. It's very easy to pick up. That's not the brush, it's the powder. So I think maybe if you want to use this brush to kind of smooth everything out, maybe you went a little overboard with the blush, you can kind of tone things down. Maybe you can see a little better here. Give you guys a look at the entire thing, the entire look. So yeah, I mean, these brushes will just kind of give your face that like soft focus. With these brushes, because they're so delicate and they're not like super dense, you are going to have to kind of build up pigment a little bit, as you've seen me do. But if you have the time and you're willing to put the work in, you can really get such beautiful results with these brushes. So yeah, those are the face brushes I have. Now I'll show you guys the eye brushes that I have, and they're all from the Sora series. I have the GS2, the GS4, which is a liner brush, and the GS5. So they're all used for different things. The GS2, which is this one, is Canadian squirrel hair. Oh, and the face brushes are all gray squirrel. So Canadian squirrel hair, and this is one of my most used, highly recommended brushes. So if you're going to get one brush from this line, make it the GS2. It's really spectacular. It's super multifunctional. Number two, I would say the GS5. This one is made of Kolinsky hair. It's phenomenal at packing shimmers. If you want to really get a lot of impact out of your shadows, this one doesn't get much better than that. And then the GS4, this is a solid brush, not my number one, but does a great job at lining. It's not super fine. So I have other liner brushes like this that are more fine and will provide like a really, really thin line of shadow. This one, not so much, but if that's what you're going for, then this is a great one. So I get asked a lot about the GS4 and if I recommend that one over the Houkodou. And to answer that question, I use the Houkodou. This is a BSL1 right here. I use this one more because it's a little finer, it's a little bit more like, it's more tightly packed. So you're going to get a little bit more of a thinner, precise line, whereas this one is going to give you a little bit of a thicker line. But if that is your preference, then the GS4 is a very solid choice. It's also Kolinsky hair, which is very hard to find. So I'm going to start out showing the GS2 on this side, and then I'll use the other ones on the other side. Because I already have my eyeshadow, I don't want to completely start over, but this is one of my most multifunctional eye brushes because it can blend, it can line, and it can pack shimmers. It can do all those things very well. So I'm going to just add a little bit more to this side just to show you guys how it performs. It's really, this is a great brush to travel with because you can just do everything with it. So I'm going to go in with this. I'm using the Viseart Paris Edit. I'm going to go in with this kind of deeper purple shade just to create some definition. You can line like this. I'm not going to do like a thin line, but kind of like give you that smoky eye look. See how beautifully it did that? Now I'm going to go in with this shimmer shade, and I love the way that this brush applies shimmers as well. So see how beautifully it did that look? You can do your entire eyeshadow look with just this brush. You know, just wipe it off between, and yeah, it really gives you that beautiful smoky eye look. All right, and then on the other side, I'll just even it out. I'll put this dark shade on this side just so it looks more even. It's very soft. It's very comfortable. Canadian squirrel hair is not super soft and fluffy like gray squirrel, so it's kind of in between, and so it has a little bit more firmness, so you'll get a little bit more intensity out of your shadow with a Canadian squirrel eye brush. All right, now I'm going to go in with the GS5 to put the shimmer on this side so you guys can see just how beautifully this puts on shimmer. It's going to put on a pretty intense application. So if that's what you want, that is what you will get. See how shimmery and beautiful it puts that on. I love this brush. I really do love it. And Kolinsky hairs are very sturdy, very durable. You can even wet this brush if you want more intensity, but you definitely don't need to. I sometimes even will go in with a little to line underneath here. So yeah, it will bring out that shimmer a little bit more than like the GS2, but they both do a great job. And I don't know if you guys can see, but no fallout. These brushes are really amazing at that. I don't see any. Last, I will use the GS4 to line, and I'm going to pick up this really dark brown shade just so you guys can really see this brush work. I use these more so for lower lash line, but you can use it for the top lash line too. I'll start out with the top. These are good if you really want to get close to the lash line. Like if you have eyes like mine, you don't want to put like a super thick line on top because it'll cover up all that shadow that you work so hard to do. I hope you can see how that did that, and I'll use the Bisyoto on the other side. So it will, like, it's not going to do like an eyeliner look. It'll kind of do more of a smoky line. And then I'm going to go in with the same shade with the Bisyoto BSL1. So I think the Bisyoto will apply a little bit more heavily and a little bit more specifically, but they feel exactly the same on the skin. So either one is a solid choice. Because this one, the Hokoto is going to cost a lot more, you know, maybe go with this one, but all of these eye brushes that I just used are amazing. I'm so happy with them all, and I want to get another GS2 or GS5. I really do, and I don't know, I might get another GS2 just because this is not like anything else. It's a truly unique brush because of the material and the design, and it's also a very, very beautiful brush. I love the aesthetic of this brush line. Right, so that's gonna do it. Those are all of my Hokoto brushes. If I had to pick maybe one of the face brushes, I don't know, I would say I'm tied between the GF2 and the GF2 and the GC2. So the GC2 is the flat one and the GF2 is a round one. They're both good. I mean, if you want a round ferrule, get the GF2. If you want a pinched ferrule blush brush, the GC2 is amazing. And this one is okay. I don't think you need this one. It's not terribly unique, but it is a beautiful brush, and that's the GC6. With the eye brushes, again, the GS2, I've been raving about this brush, and the GS5, I've been talking about these for some time, so that should be no surprise. These are both amazing brushes, and I'm so sad they're going to be costing a lot more, but you know, if you've been thinking about getting these, you know, now is a good time. So those are two. And yeah, this one is a solid brush. I don't think the BZ brushes are going to go up in price that much, but you know, if you're looking to add another brush, this is a totally solid brush, and it's a little different in that it's not like super angled. Okay, so that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.